you'll see just how big the damage is. Welcome back to Elden Ring. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the best Rivers of Blood build. This build is not only going to deal a lot of damage to pretty much any enemy in the game. That includes bosses. I use this weapon to take down Millennia, or Melania, whatever you want to call her. But you are also going to be able to steal extra health or life off enemies. And just quickly before we do get into the build, if you're not currently subbed to the channel, make sure you do sub, turn notifications on. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like. All support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to support me further as a creator, then check out the links in the description. And let's get into it. So, starting off with the Rivers of Blood, if you have made your way up to the mountain tops of the giants, then as you progress over and you get to the ancient Snow Valley ruins, you come up to the freezing lake, you make your way all the way around, you come across this sort of like chain bridge here, then you're going to come all the way down to here to the Church of Repose. Once you get there, you're going to be invaded by an NPC, take the NPC down and you will be awarded with the Rivers of Blood. Whilst you're up in the mountaintops of the Giants region, if you come back up to the freezing lake, you are going to head to the east until you find a tree and you'll hear a scarab making a circle around it, but you won't be able to see the scarab, you'll just see it as like trail. So whilst you're there, kill that scarab just by attacking it as it approaches you, and you'll also be awarded with seppuku because we're going to run that on our second weapon. Another thing whilst you're up here, if you come to the Spirit Caller Cave, once you have made your way through that cave and you've taken down the final boss, or should I say bosses, because it's the Godskin duo, once you've taken them down, you'll be awarded with the Godskin Swaddling Cloth. And for the time being, at least, that is it for the mountaintops of the giants. So the items I have mentioned is the Ash of War that will go on your Uchigatana. Seppuku is going to stab you, deal blood loss, but that's going to get everything to proc on your build, and is going to help with your blood loss build up to other enemies. With the Godskin Swaddling Cloth, it's a talisman, and successive attacks restore health. So you're going to be stealing, essentially stealing health off enemies. So at this stage, you should have the Rivers of Blood, you should have seppuku, you should have the Godskin Swaddling Cloth. In order to get your Uchigatana, what you're going to need to do if you haven't started the game as a samurai is up at Gatefront, come along to Stormhill Shack, make your way along to Saints Bridge, and then from Saints Bridge you're going to head back on yourself and come up this little section here, come into the Death-Touched Catacombs, and in there you'll be able to pick up an Uchigatana, any class in the game. Then you do have a choice of the Silver Tier Mask or the White Mask. Unfortunately, on this character, or at least until I go to New Game Plus, I can't get my hands on the White Mask, and I'll explain exactly why in a moment. But if you're looking for the Silver Tier Mask, it's going to boost your arcane by 8. So without this mask on, my arcane would only be 40. And arcane is going to be incredibly helpful in this build, because that is what all of the bleed effects in the game scale on. So the Silver Tier Mask, you are going to take down Radahn, and then if you see where Fort Height is, just over to the east of Waypoint Ruins, along from Gatefront, you are going to have a massive crater here after you've taken down Radahn, and it's going to lead you into Nokron. When you're in Nokron, if you make your way down here to the Mimic Tier, that's going to be a boss. You take down that boss, you will get the Silver Tier Mask. If you're interested in the White Mask, it does actually stack with Lord of Blood's Exhortation, so they both work together. But as I said, I can't get it on this character. However, if you are interested, there is another video on the channel. I'll leave a link to it in the description and the pinned comment. Then you're going to want to get your hands on Raptor's Black Feathers, and the reason you want to do this is if you have a look at the second sort of paragraph, at the bottom it says strengthens jump attacks. You're going to be doing jump attacks a lot with this build, and with this one, once you have made your way up into the capital sort of region, if you've come from the Grand Lift of Dectus, you're basically just going to make your way to Altus Highway Junction, then come across to the Erdtree Gazing Hill, then come down this hill here to the abandoned coffin site of Grace. Whereas if you've gone up through the lake, you've kind of avoided the Grand Lift of Dectus. If you've made your way up through the ravine-veiled village, you would have taken down a magma worm boss, And after defeating that boss, you will make it to the abandoned coffin. However, from the abandoned coffin, you're going to come into the lake and you're going to make your way round until you get to Sage's cave. Once you're in this cave, it's all about just like the progression of it. It's all basically secret or hidden walls sort of thing. You just jump into them, roll into them, attack them, whatever you want to do. Make your way through the cave and you will eventually come across this armor, which is the Raptor's black feathers. There is also a... where is it? There is a skeletal mask as well, which is quite cool. And you'll also get a couple of weapons, or at least one. You'll get the Raptor talons. So if you're interested in all of that stuff, make your way up to Sage's cave, because every single thing I have just mentioned will be available inside that cave. The other two pieces of your armor are completely personal preference. I'm running the black knife stuff because I've been using a lot of the things from my assassin build that's also on the channel, as I just really like it. And I was using the assassin cloak, which is the black knife armor, because it makes your footsteps silent. But now I'm running this build, I'm going to be jumping a lot. I picked up the Raptor's black feathers. So with the Rivers of Blood, the Uchigatana with seppuku, the silver tier mask or the white mask, the Raptor's black feathers, also the Godskin swaddling cloth, you're going to want to get your hands on the rotten winged sword insignia. And this one is really difficult to get your hands on in terms of how long it's going to take you. But it's definitely worth it because it greatly raises the attack power, or your attack power, with successive attacks. So basically, the more you attack an enemy, you're going to be restoring health from the swaddling cloth, but you're also going to be increasing your attack power as well. So dealing more damage with every successive attack and getting health back at the same time, these two are the perfect mix. So the quest you want to do is over in Caelid. Once you have made your way to the Church of the Plague, you are going to see Millicent sat there for the first time. And basically, you have to start the quest with Millicent, you have to use Galry's shack a few times, and eventually it's going to lead you all the way up to the Halleck tree at the top. And once you've been there and you've come over to the prayer room, you can also get the next piece of this build, which is going to be Marika's Soreseal. So this one I will show you because it's not just part of natural progression. With things like the Raptor's black feathers, you're just going to progress through the cave. This one is completely different. Before we do get into this one, if you do want to make your way to Sage's cave using the Grand Lift of Dectus, you're going to need to grab two halves of a medallion. The first one you'll find at Fort Faroth, and the other half you will find down at Fort Height. Grab those two halves, they're inside, like on top of the towers, and you just open a chest, they're inside the chests. Then you're able to use the Grand Lift of Dectus and make your way up to like the capital area. But once you get to mountaintops of the giants, if you go to Ordina, there is going to be an Evergoal at the top, and you need to go into there and light the flames. Once you've done that, you're going to break a seal that's going to let you in to the top of the staircase. If you want the assassin armor, it's underneath the staircase. When you get there, there's going to be a teleporter that's going to bring you over to the Halleck tree. Once you're here, make your way to the prayer room. And from here, what we're going to do is head north. And once I've dealt with these enemies, that guy almost completely ruined me. You don't have to fight those, but if you do, once you've killed them, come to this section here, jump across, drop down onto here. Normally, there's going to be an Erdtree avatar over there walking along this like bridge. I've taken him out in my game, so he's not going to be there for me. You don't have to take him down. You can just wait until he walks past that massive tower, and then he shouldn't see you. But if you come down here and you drop down, when you get here, you're going to drop actually onto the bridge. So just jump across. Then you're going to walk along here. You might have to wait on that little roof up there for a little while. But when you're here, if you just sprint and then jump and land here, there's going to be some horrible enemies down here. You're going to need stone sword keys as well. If you have a look at the top of my mask, it's hard to see, but there's an imp statue there. Put your stone sword keys in. Open up this archway here, and inside there's going to be a chest. And in the chest, you will get Marika's Soreseal. What Marika's Sword Seal does is greatly raises attributes, but also increases the damage you take. So it's quite a big, increase to the amount of damage you take. It's 15%, but it's going to increase your mind, intelligence, faith, and arcane by +5 each. So if I wasn't running Marika's Sword Seal, if I wasn't running the Silver Tier Mask, I would only be on 35 arcane. And then the last part of the build is Lord of Blood's Exhortation. The Flask of Wondrous Physic is completely optional. You can run whatever you want to. I'm running Opaline Bubble Tier and Crimson Burst Crystal Tier so that I can avoid taking huge amounts of damage from one hit off the boss, any boss that I'm facing. And Crimson Burst just to steadily restore my health over time. And I've done that purely because the entire build is focused on getting your health back. So you can really get in there, deal a lot of damage through melee with successive attacks. It's going to become stronger, and you're also going to keep healing at the same time. But with Lord of Blood's Exhortation, in the capital, you have to make your way down into the Lendel Catacombs. Once you're in there, solve the puzzle and activate the door, open the door, so that you can make your way into the main boss. Take down that boss and he will award you with the Lord of Blood's Exhortation. And that is going to increase your attack power again when there is blood loss in the vicinity. So the entire thing is about increasing your attack power, grabbing health back, and also dealing more damage with successive attacks as well. So we've covered Rivers of Blood, Uchigatana with seppuku, Silver Tier Mask, Raptor's Black Feathers. If you're looking for the White Mask, there's a video on the channel. It's also linked in the description and the pinned comment. Godskin Swaddling Cloth, Rotten Winged Sword Insignia, Marika's Sword Seal, Lord of Blood's Exhortation, and we've also done the Flask of Wondrous Physic. That's optional. And the legs and arms for your armor are completely optional as well. So over here, in Caelid, we have a dragon. And what I'm going to do is be a little bit risky. But with the weapons equipped, I'm going to just keep attacking. And you'll see that nice 5,000. I need to get a good hit point, and I'm actually going to die. I'm going to die. Oh, I died. So with the Rivers of Blood, you'll see that swipe that we just took. You'll see the swipes that we just missed. Give me a second to move. You'll see just how big the damage is. And just how much this guy hurts when you get Scarlet Rot. Oh, he flies. I knew he was going to do that. I'm so glad I grabbed my runes. Look at that. One hit to his nose. And he's lost 1,500. But then it's pissed him off enough for him to do the same to me. Oh, here he goes, breathing the Scarlet Rot everywhere. And now, my friend, you are... No, you're not. Don't you dare kill me. Don't do it. Don't do it. Look at your health bar. There we go. I finished him off with a wing attack. Finally got that guy. 3 attempts and I took him down. I'm starting to feel sorry for this guy because I've, started to kind of bully him. So what I'm going to do here... Not a FP flask. That's what I wanted. I'm going to do seppuku. And then I'm going to jump into this guy and attack him. And then left bumper. And yeah, he stands absolutely no chance. And neither do his friends. If you've got bosses, the more attacks you do, it's just the more damage they take. Successive attacks are going to get you health back. They're going to increase attack power. And, I mean, this build is amazing. You've just obviously got to be careful in some situations. Like, if there are enemies that are stomping around all the time and everything, you've got to try and be careful with it. But that was a look at the best Rivers of Blood build in Elden Ring. I absolutely love this one. It takes a long time to get your hands on, and what's not to like, your dual wielding katanas. But what we're going to do is leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it.